Hello everybody, welcome back to this video series on how to make a helicopter in Autodesk Fusion 360. So guys, we are only 100 subscribers away from 1000 subscribers, and we're only 900 public watch hours away from us becoming a YouTube partner. So if you are watching this video and you want to continue supporting this channel, please do continue watching the videos. If you want to take it a step further, you can consider subscribing to my Patreon for as little as £1 a month, and we will be starting some community Zoom calls. So if you're interested in interacting with the community, sharing ideas, and developing with them, please do consider subscribing to my Patreon, and I'll announce this on Patreon a little bit closer to the time. So let's get cracking straight on to Fusion 360. Okay, so the last time we left off with this rotor section, and what we did was we created this section over here, which is sort of this base or the hub of the rotor and the blades themselves. In this tutorial, we are going to be focusing on the tail section. Now, I do remember saying that if you wanted to follow along to the tail section, you could just follow what I did with the horizontal stabilizer, and you could recreate the tail section over there. And you could also consider making the blades and the back similar to how we made the blades for the main rotor. But this is more of a follow-along video than a proper tutorial, this specific video, just because the techniques I'm about to show you are something we've already covered. All right, so let's get started. The first thing I'm going to work on is this back tail over here. It sort of looks like a boomerang. And what I'm going to do first is extrude something outwards in that direction, so right over there. And then we're going to slice that part over there at an inclination, and then we're going to we're going to draw this boomerang shape there. So first of all, let's just extrude onto the other side. So as you can see over here, the airfoil section is only about this small. So the chord of that airfoil should only be this small. So what I'm going to do is, from the top view, we are still sketching on the right plane, by the way, but I've switched the top view, and I'm going to hover my mouse somewhere near that section there, because that's where the line of the airfoil ends, and I'm going to drag backwards till the end of that airfoil. So if you were confused why I did what I just did, all you need to do is follow my mouse. So you can see that the airfoil starts over here, so I'm going to drag that, and it ends starts over there, and the airfoil ends over here, so I'm going to do that. All right, so that's now our new chord line. However, you can see this is quite in a bad position, so I'm just going to press M on my keyboard to move this up. All right, so this is as simple as that. Okay, and I'm going to press OK. Now, we know that this is a chord of the airfoil, so I'm going to turn this into a construction line. I'm going to go to Create, Spline, Control Point Spline, and I'm just going to draw an airfoil there. Okay, again, I'm just going to mirror this for simplicity. If you do know which airfoil you are using, please go ahead and use that one. All right, I'm going to finish the sketch here and go back to the top plane to make sure things are still all right, and they are. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and press Extrude and make sure you've selected that surface there, and just drag it out till this position. Okay, again, obviously instead of cut, we want to make it a new body, and I'm going to go ahead and press OK. And there we have it. So that's our first main step. Okay, we're not going to mirror this because on the other side we only have this rotor section, and we only have that boomerang section on the top. I do apologize me calling this boomerang again and again. I do not know the technical term for it, so please bear with me. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and slice this at an inclination. So just grab the Create Sketch tool, and you can just draw on the top plane. And currently it doesn't really matter where the sketch is, because we're just going to be using it as a knife. So I'm going to press L on my keyboard. And what I want to do is just sort of draw at an inclination which is similar to this top view of the boomerang. So I'm going to maybe do it something like that. And I'm also going to leave a little bit of space here just in case there's a problem with the slicing. Okay, I'm going to finish the sketch, grab the split body tool, click on this one as the body to split, and the splitting tool is going to be this one. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and press OK. Now, if you open up your bodies folder, you'll see that this is the one that we want to remove. So body 94 in my case. I'm going to right click on this and click on remove. And there we go. We don't need that anymore. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is create the airfoil, which is orthogonal to the airfoil we had created on this surface. Okay, so what I'm going to do in order to do that is just revolve around till you can see the other section of the airfoil over here. I'm going to create a sketch on this plane. So that's the new surface that we just created, which is at an inclination. I'm going to press P on my keyboard to project, and I'm going to press OK. Then hopefully we will get two of these points. So the one is the leading edge, the other one's the trailing edge. So I'm just going to draw a line between these two. Okay, and I'm going to finish the sketch. So we need this line to be able to create the orthogonal surface. So construct plane at angle, and you can just click on this. But instead of 0 degrees, we now want it at 90 degrees. So now this is at 90 degrees to the airfoil that we created earlier. Great. Now we're going to go ahead and create a sketch on top of this new plane. Now, because we selected that plane to sketch on, it will obviously take us to the top view or something close to the top view. What we want to do instead is leave the sketch on the top view, but go on to the right-hand side, just so that we can measure where the boomerang starts and ends at that point. So I'm going to click the line tool, and you can see this sort of cursor, which is a line. It's not actually a line, it is a cross from the upper direction, but when you look at it from this direction, you can only see a line. So what I'm going to do is, if you just follow my mouse, and you can see that this is where the boomerang is going to end. So I'm just going to click over there, and I'm going to drag that line back till there, because that's where the boomerang is going to end. Okay, now if you go back to the top view, you can see that we've just created that line, and I'm happy with this, so I'm going to stick to this line right now. Okay. Now what has happened is that this has become a line which is parallel to the line of symmetry, but we want this to be at an inclination. So what I can do is I can press escape, press P on my keyboard, and I can project this purple line over there. I'm going to press OK, because that is the inclination that we want. I'm going to press L on my keyboard again, or you can click the line tool there. Start from this point, hover over to the purple line, but do not click anything. Just hover over the purple line and drag upwards till you see it automatically snapping. And this snap is basically representing it being parallel to the purple line. You can see the parallel marks on the purple line as well as the new line that we've just drawn right now. Okay, and the other thing you can do is hover over this point, but do not click, and you can just drag up, and you can see that this is now right where the line should be, the point, and it's also parallel to the purple line that we wanted. It's a neat little trick of hovering that Fusion 360 is really good at. Okay, and now we can just double click and the line is created. Now I'm going to press T on my keyboard to trim this line because we no longer need it. And there we have it. That's a good section that we need. Okay, I'm going to trim that as well. Okay, maybe we can't. Let's just leave it there. I'm going to turn this and this into a construction line. And I'm going to create spline, control point spline. And I'm just going to draw the airfoil over here. Okay, and again, if you do know which airfoil you want to use, please go ahead and do that one. Mirror, so I'm going to select this one, and the mirror line is going to be this one. There we have it, simple. Okay, now let's go back to the right view to make sure that it is indeed the correct position, and it is. Go back to the top view, and it's covering that very, very well. Okay, now we're going to be using this airfoil to sweep the boomerang shape. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the sketch. Okay, so once you've clicked on Finish Sketch, now let's go ahead and construct a plane at an angle, and we're going to choose that line over there, which is the chord of the airfoil, as our reference line. Okay, and if I revolve around, we do want it to be at that angle there, so I'm going to go ahead and press OK. Then you want to create a new sketch on top of this new plane. All right, and hopefully it should take you automatically to that reference line. Now I'm going to press P on my keyboard, and I'm also going to project that chord line again. And you'll see why this is a neat little trick to have. Okay, I'm going to press on the line tool, and I'm going to let it snap to that purple section that we just projected. Go back to the right plane, and I'm going to drag this upwards somewhere till where it's a straight line. So I'm going to say somewhere till there. All right. And similarly, I want this to snap from there to there. Now you can tell there is a bit of a misalignment between the blueprint and the sketch that I've just created. And this is because I estimated where that position would be when we were first creating the first airfoil. If you want to, you can just go back in time and drag that point forward and come back to the present time in the timeline, and hopefully it should fix itself. It's a neat little trick that Fusion has. Okay, and I'm going to create a new line, and I'm going to let it snap to the back point of the projected sketch we projected. Go back to the right view, and then I'm just going to drag this up till somewhere here. Okay. Similarly, I wanted to do the same thing in the back, so somewhere there. And now you can see we have some interesting geometry over here. So it's not really straight anymore, but it is an arc. Just to approximate that, I'm just going to create a line, a spline. So I'm going to click on that, go there, and maybe just do it till somewhere over here. Okay, and we'll see how Fusion sweeps this out and how the geometry works. And obviously we can go ahead and change it later on. So first off, I'm just going to finish the sketch over here. Okay, and now what we're going to do is sweep. So create, sweep, and instead of saying a single path, we want to say path plus guide rail. The profile we want to select is this one. The path we want to select is, so you just deselect chain selection for now. Path is this one, and the guide rail is this one. If this doesn't work, just try swapping the path and the guide rail, and hopefully it should make sense. Now, currently we have perpendicular to path, but if we want to, we can just say full extents, and there we go. That is how our boomerang looks like now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and press OK. And now we're just going to repeat the process. So go back to the sketch and activate the last sketch that we created, because we still are not done with it. And also the one before that where our airfoil is. So I'm just going to go to create, sweep, again, path plus guide rail. The profile is this one, the path is this one, and the guide rail is this one and this one. Okay, because we still want that little section over there. Again, instead of join, I'm just going to say new body for now, just in case there are any errors in the future. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and press OK. And there we have it. So now we can hide all the sketches from before, and that is our boomerang section completed. Now, obviously, if you wanted to thicken up the airfoil, you can, and you can see there is a little bit of a gap between the boomerang and that shape over there. If you want to bridge the gap, you can either choose to take the boomerang and put it inside, or you can just extrude this span over here a little bit more. So I'm going to press extrude, and I'm going to select that airfoil surface there and just bring it forward. So you can either do that, or you can pull it back in. Here you can see that it's actually done it at an inclination, because that's what extrude will do. So instead of extrude, let's try press pull. So under modify, we can click on press pull. And now if I just hide this body and this one as well, and what I want to do is click on this one, bring back the two bodies just so I could select it, and then pull it. Okay, and now hopefully it should be straight. Yep, so that's the difference between press pull and extrude. Extrude will literally take the cross section you've given it, and it'll just extrude orthogonal to that section. But press pull will make sure there's continuity with the previous section that it was in. Don't quote me on this. This is just what I've seen with experience, and hopefully it makes sense to you as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and press OK over here, and now we can go ahead and work with the rotor section. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is create just that cylinder over there. So the cylinder that's poking out, and again, I'm just going to make this very, very simplified, and it's purely for visual purposes. If you want, you can just follow along to what I did for the main blades of the rotor of the helicopter, because that's pretty much what I'm going to do over here. Okay, so I'm going to create a new sketch on the right plane, and then I'm going to press C on my keyboard to create a circle, and I'm going to do that somewhere over here. Okay, and maybe I want to make this 7.5. Finish sketch, and I'm going to extrude that outwards. Okay, that was a good guess of where the circle should be. So I'm going to just leave that till there maybe, and I'm going to say new body and press OK. Okay, and that's where, that's basically what's going to house the blades. Okay, and now we want to sort of flush this out with a hemisphere on top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new sketch on top of the end of the circle, press P on my keyboard, project this, and press OK. And now we have the center of the circle. I'm going to press L on my keyboard for the line, and I'm just going to hover over that circle over there, drag upwards, click there, and drag downwards. So now we've basically just created a diameter. I'm going to press Finish Sketch, go to Revolve. The profile we want is one of these, the axis we want is one of these, and the angle is 180 degrees because we don't want a whole sphere, we just want a hemisphere. And you can go ahead and press Join on this. And what you can see now is we've just sort of flushed that little bit out over there. Okay, now we can create the blades. Now these blades are a little bit fancy, and I believe in my own model I have also created that twist over there and then just extruded it out. But again, for simplicity's sake, I am just going to have one airfoil over here and one airfoil over here. Maybe we don't even need to extrude it. Maybe we can just create an airfoil over here and just drag it out, extrude it out, because I don't see a twist over here. If we do want to add something, I think it's going to be between the main hub and that first section of airfoil there. Okay, so first let's create a new sketch on the right plane. And again, we're just going to be creating it purely to be able to create the new plane that we want in the future. So just create that new line, and somewhere over here where the twist, where this sort of linear process begins with a straight line, I'm going to drag from there to there. Okay, and now I'm going to finish the sketch, or should we first go to the right plane and see where it is? Instead of going to the front planes, let's go to the top plane and just click on that line we made, press M on your keyboard and just move that line over here. So to the center of this blade over there, and press OK. Okay, and now just finish the sketch, construct plane at angle, and click on that line that we just created. Okay, and what this is going to let us do is it's going to create that plane over there on which we'll draw the airfoil. Okay, just press OK, and there we have it. Okay, let's keep that line for now, because when we draw on it, we know where which direction to draw the airfoil in. So let's create a new sketch on top of this new plane, and we still have this line over here, which we can use as the chord, by the way. So I'm going to click on this and just go into construction, and you can see that hopefully, oh, never mind. You can't do that anymore because that sketch does not belong to this sketch. So we're going to press P on our keyboard, and we're just going to click on that. And there we have it. That line is now part of our sketch. Great, so now I'm just going to create spline, control point spline, and also straighten my back, and just draw the airfoil in this direction, and then mirror it. Okay, I don't actually know which direction is the correct one, but for now I'm just going to leave it like this. Okay, finish the sketch, and now I'm going to press extrude, click on that section and that section, go to the right plane, and just drag it out. And look at that, we were very close actually. So if our inclination was a little bit higher, we could have done that. Now, if you do want to go ahead and change that inclination, you can. I'm happy with this since this is just an estimate. And also at the same time, the rotors do move. So it's sort of inevitable that they go from there to there. So I don't think this is wrong, but if you want to match the blueprints, go ahead and do that. All right, so I'm just going to press OK now. And now I wonder if we could just create a sort of loft between this section and that section. So what we can do is we can go to construct, and maybe we can go to axis through cylinder and click on that cylinder that we drew earlier. And you can see this sort of turquoise line coming out of the cylinder. I'm going to press OK. And I'm also going to construct plane at angle, and I'm going to use that new line that we've just created. Okay, and we want to make this this plane should be parallel to that airfoil section there. So for now, I'm just making it 40 degrees because it looks reasonably close enough. Okay, maybe 45, and I'm going to press OK. And we're just going to draw a smaller airfoil inside this plane, and you'll see why. So I'm just going to click on this plane to draw a new sketch. Press P to project, because I'm going to project that hemisphere. And At this point, if things are getting confusing, don't worry. All the things I'm showing you are very optional things, just adding a little bit of detail. Okay, and what I also want to do is create a new airfoil. So maybe the size of that, and create a spline control point spline, remove the construction, do that, mirror it, our classic stuff basically. Again, this is a little bit thick, so I'm going to thin it out and finish the sketch. Okay, so now you'll see if I go to create loft, so we loft that section there with the section we already have. So you can see this is interesting because our airfoiler was over there and this other airfoil that we just created is over here. So instead of join, I'm going to say new body, and instead of actually having that sketch over there, maybe I want to have the sketch move in that direction. So let's see if that's possible. And maybe we could have it even somewhere there, because then it'll be a lot more smoother. There we go. I think that looks a lot better. And if you're happy with this, that's great. If you're not, try and play around with it. You never know what you might like. Okay, and as for the construction lines, I think I'm going to just hide that axis because we don't need it anymore. And the sketch, we don't need it anymore. So once you're happy with the blade, all you need to do is go to create, pattern, circular pattern. The type should be your bodies, and click on these two as your bodies, and the axis should be this one. And obviously, because there's only two, we're only going to press 2 over there and press OK. And there we go. Our helicopter now has a proper tail and a rotor in the background as well. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully all of that made sense. Please do like, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And again, regarding the Patreon, I will be hosting these Zoom sessions, hopefully once a month or once in 2 weeks, depending on how the patrons feel. And the entire point of that is to create this community feeling, share ideas, and grow together. I think it's really nice when we're all just sharing ideas. We can brainstorm sessions together. And I think it's just really nice if you want to grow in that specific direction. So please do consider doing that. It's as little as £1 a month on my Patreon. I will leave the links down in the description below. All right, guys, thank you so much and hope to see you all soon. Bye.